on BNN.
Well, after the TS saw a triple-digit gain in the last trading session, our next guest says there are potential catalysts this week for that momentum to continue. Joining us is Diana Avigdor, VP and Portfolio Manager and Head of Trading at Barometer Capital Management. Very busy, Diana. Let's talk about the catalysts for the week ahead. Where are they? What are they?
Sure. We've seen this morning Italian bond auction that came in despite higher than 6%, perceived as better than expected. Well, we have $20 billion worth of money bond auctions in Europe again this week. So we're going to be watching how well they go. That's coming out of Italy, France, and Spain. Exactly the countries that we're watching to see how the situation unfolds. We have CPI coming out both out of Europe and the U.S. We're watching closely for signs of inflation there. The U.S. numbers have been coming in better than expected. We want to continue to see that trend because markets have been holding in extremely well the last 6 weeks, despite often conflicting European headlines coming out on the tape every half hour or so. So we want to see continuation of that. We also have housing numbers Wednesdays and Thursdays, and we have 9 IPOs coming, lots of issuances coming this week in the U.S. 9 IPOs, that's a lot. That's the highest we've had since February. And all this on the back of a short week as there is U.S. Thanksgiving, and the market will be closed on Thursday and I believe half a day on Friday. So lots of things to watch. In addition, there is also a European finance minister meeting on Thursday. We want to see a continuation of conversations about the EFSF fund leveraging that's been discussed the last couple of weeks, but hasn't been mentioned since the Greece and Italian headlines hit afterwards.
And just to clarify, I think, Diana, is Thanksgiving next week, not this week. So it's the Thursday, the 25th, I think.
Right.
Or 24th is Thanksgiving.
But we have housing numbers as well Thursday, I believe, and we're going to be watching for that. And then we're running into earnings, technology earnings as well.
Okay. A couple of things we were showing earlier, and you introduced me to that Citigroup Economic Surprise Index. It's into positive territory now. I had been well into negative. How important are these economic data points over the next couple of weeks in keeping the momentum going?
I believe they're very important because we're watching for signs. Why is the market holding in so well when really the situation in Europe has not really changed, with the exception of, yes, we have a new prime ministers, but really the economic situation, the numbers have not really changed. But what we're realizing is that the North American economies are not imploding, China is not imploding, and Japan just posted its first positive GDP number in 4 quarters and the best since 2003. Yes, on the earthquake rebuild, but still a good data point. So the economic numbers coming in better than expected are always a positive thing, especially in this situation that we are now. 3-4 weeks ago, we were talking about QE3. I haven't heard that conversation in a couple of weeks now.
Diana, I'm very curious from where you sit, what's the order flow right now? When you're looking at buy and sell orders from the big asset managers, what kind of trends are you picking up on the desk?
Well, what we're seeing on the desk, we're being told on the desk, because we are an asset manager as well, but what I'm seeing being reported, I see some larger buy programs as portfolio managers, asset managers are putting some money to work without actually making a call on specific stocks. A buy program would allow a portfolio manager to take a percentage of his cash and prorate it over several names. Generally, a program is referred to a trade that encompasses 10 different names or more. And sometimes these buy programs encompass 20, 30 different names, all to be worked in the same way, say over the day or any other kind of strategy, but not something that picks a price or a particular stock. So it's more of a diversified buying strategy, but it's buying nevertheless.
And Diana, briefly, is it those programs, is it the industrials, energy materials, that's what's been working in Toronto so far this quarter?
It really depends on what the asset manager's mandate is. We've seen it across the board. From Barometer's perspective, our models are still positive, and we do recommend clients to look at yielding investments, stocks or bonds, or anything that provides a higher yield given this low interest environment. We think that still works, and that still works on the downside. When you look at what's really not working on the down day, you see financials in the US, for example, or brokers up or down 9%. That's not a place to be in at the moment.
All right, Diane, we'll leave it there. Great to hear from you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Diane Avigdor, VP, Portfolio Manager, Head of Trading, Barometer Capital.
And shareholders of Hathor Exploration have a new bid to consider. Chemical